Hi, good morning. Welcome to Money Mind. In this video, we will be discussing about the I of IDBP3. So by now, I'm sure you know what IDBP3 is all about. It's your financial website. So I stands for insurance. Why do you need insurance? Well, insurance basically is required so that if any mishap happens in your life doesn't stop or doesn't come to an end. Whatever you have saved or invested doesn't come to an end immediately. That's the sole purpose for the insurance that you need in your life. So there are 4 types of insurance you need in your life. I'll discuss all of them here and I'll let you know why each of them are very important for you. So stay tuned. The first type is the term plan. A term plan is required so that if anything happens to you during your life journey, your family doesn't come on the streets. It's a cushion to provide your family with enough money so that life can at least go on in your absence. That's the sole purpose for a term plan. Now there are various products, various companies offering term plan insurance to you. All of them are not important. All of them are not good as well. So what is it that you need to check in a term plan? We'll discuss that right here. The first criteria in getting a term plan is get it as early as possible. Maybe as soon as you get your first job. Probably the first thing that you can do from your salary, the first salary that you get, is to get a term plan. That's really at an early age. Maybe at the age of 20, 21, you can get that term plan cover and you get it very, very cheap. You get a 1 crore, 2 crore term plan for a very, very cheap EMI. And the best part is that EMI gets fixed for the rest of your life. So it's always advisable to get the term plan as soon as you get your first job. Now there is a checklist that you need to tick while getting a term insurance. I'll quickly read those out because I have listed them for you so that I do not forget. See, it's term plan, not just any other insurance. So avoid any other whole life insurance policies and any other insurance gimmicks that are marketed to you. You need none of them. Just go for a pure term plan. Don't go for whole life insurance. You don't need a whole life insurance. You just need cover till the time your children grows up and they take on this world on their own. That's it. The next checklist which you should be looking at is money back plans, traditional insurance policies, ULIPs, endowment plans, whole life policies, guaranteed regular income plans, return of premium plans. Absolutely worthless. Absolutely worthless. Don't go and buy any of these. None of these are important. Absolutely none of these are important. Third checklist, do check the claim settlement ratio. You can check this. There are lots of third-party sites. Maybe you can check in Policy Bazaar. This is not a paid promotion, but I just I know that they display this claim settlement ratio over there, so it's easy. You can go there and check it for yourself. Do look at the amount settlement ratio also. You can get this from the IRDA report, and you may get it from Policy Bazaar as well. There is also a critical aspect that you need to check, which is the claim rejection ratio. You have to choose companies that has a claim rejection ratio of less than 1%. It's very, very important. Do not take into consideration any company that has a claim rejection ratio of more than 1%. It's not worth it. The AUM of the company is the next point that you should be checking in. The AUM of the company tells you how strong the company is. The AUM of the company tells you, just in case if the company suddenly faces huge amount of withdrawals, huge amount of claims. Does it really have that amount with them to pay you off? Currently, the AUM is highest for LIC. The next check is the solvency ratio. Look for companies which has a solvency ratio of less than 1.5%. Why is this important? It's because if the company is in the verge of solvency, does it really have the funds to pay you off, cover up your insurance? So this is really important. Check the riders, the riders that come with a term plan. Take them with the term plan. Do not take the riders with Mediclaim, because with Mediclaim the insurance premium goes up, the rider premiums goes up. But with the term plan, once you take the term plan with the riders, the premium gets fixed and it never increases. So it's beneficial to take the riders with the term plan. And the most important part while taking a term plan is never give incorrect information. If you smoke, mention you're a smoker. If you drink, mention you drink. Never give wrong information, because while they make the claims later on, they really go through a very strict scrutiny, and it's really very easy to find out whether you're a smoker or you're not. So never disclose anything wrong, any incorrect information. So these are basically the few checklists which you can look for while choosing a term plan for yourself. Do it thoroughly, do it once, and this is the only one time which you're going to go through this hard work and choose a term plan for yourself. You're not going to do it every month or every week. So put the due diligence, do it once, and make sure you get the best out of it. We'll move on to the next insurance, which is Mediclaim. Of course, this is very important. Mediclaim is important not just to help you while you get admitted to a hospital, or your near and dear ones gets admitted to a hospital. It's not just to cover up the medical bills in a hospital. Mediclaim is an insurance to give you the backup, or to save you from the investments that you've made, the portfolio that you have accumulated over the years. All of this will be wiped off if you do not have a Mediclaim. One hospitalization and bill will be enough to erase everything and anything that you have accumulated all throughout these years. You can't just say the doctors, okay fine, let him die, I do not have the money. You have to save the life, right? Now at that point of time, if you do not have a Mediclaim, and also if you do not have enough saved in your bank or enough corpus with you, you go into debt. That is a terror. We'll discuss about this later on. So the best thing to do is take a Mediclaim for each and every member in your family. It's important. What kind of Mediclaim you need? Again, there are a few checklists which we'll discuss. And before we go into the checklist, there are a few more points. Just like, first, find out the requirements, and then start choosing your Mediclaim. Why you need? How do you find out your requirements? Your requirements would be the lifestyle you have, the city where you are, the kind of food you eat. If you are a smoker, you drink. These things have an effect on your health, and accordingly you should have enough coverage to provide for if you are admitted to the hospital. So your base policy, your top-ups, super top-ups, we'll discuss all these things, will depend on how you live, how you eat, what you do in your life. Super top-up and a top-up, as I mentioned just now, always go for super top-ups. The reason is, for top-ups, when you take a top-up policy, the top-up policy is designed in such a way that if your claim is over and above the base policy, the top-up does cover it if it is within the limits. But then if you are admitted to the hospital again for the next time, the top-up will not be of any help. So in that case, super top-up comes into existence. So if you have a super top up, say if you have a 5 lakh base policy and a 5 lakh super top up, now you get admitted to the hospital once and you claim a bill of 7 lakhs. In case of a top up, you get the 7 lakhs, no problem with it. In case of a super top up also, you get the 7 lakhs, no problem with it. Now the problem comes if you are admitted to the hospital once again in the same year. Now then you do not have anything left in the base policy, because that's finished. You've already claimed 7 lakhs out of it. Now you have 3 lakhs left from the super top up. Now if you have a hospital bill of 2 lakhs, now this 3 lakh will give you that coverage. But for a top up, it's not going to give. Top up always comes associated with the base policy. So if there isn't any base policy, there is no top up. So since you have consumed your base policy amount, you cannot consume the remaining top up amount. So always go for the super top ups with your policies. Now coming to the checklist. Checklist number 1, individual versus floater policies. I would recommend if you are a senior citizen, go for individual policy. If you are young, less than 40, less than 50, go for floater policies. Okay. Checklist number 2, government versus private. It doesn't matter. Choose the company which is giving you the best out of everything that you have, best of your requirements. Choose the company, provided of course you do all other verification checks and the company meets the other checklists as well. Checklist number 3, base cover plus super top ups. As I said, always go for super top ups. So take the base cover based on your hospitalization bed bills. You at least have to have enough to give you a full coverage of your room charges from the policy. So how much is that? So if you have a 5 lakh policy, the room charges is 1% of 5 lakhs, which is 5,000. If you have a 7 lakh policy, the room charges is up to 7,000, which is 1% of 7 lakhs. So if in your area the hospital room charges are 10,000, 9,000, 8,000, even the basic hospital like dormitory charges are like 5,000-6,000, you at least need that 6 lakh policy. Otherwise it will not cover the entire room rent. Now why this is very much important is because if you do not get a full claim on the room amount, the other claims also comes down proportionately. That's the worst part in Mediclaim policies. It's very important that whenever you get admitted, do ask the hospital the rooms that they have, and it should fall within that 1% bracket that you have with your Mediclaim policy. Fine. The next checklist number 4 is copay. Policies with copay. Don't go for them. What's the use of these kind of policies? I really do not understand. Maybe the premium amount is a little less, but it doesn't help if you have to pay 10, 15, 20% copay at the time of hospitalization. That's the time when you really need your mind to be free. You're already tensed, your family member is admitted. You can't take another burden of paying 10, 15, 20% as a copay. It's the horrible thing that you can think of. Never ever go with copay policies. Zonal or pan-India policies. See, I would recommend go for pan-India policy, because you never know which part of the city, which part of the country you're going to stay in future. So if you're staying in Kolkata now, you might move on to Baroda, you might move on to Mumbai, you might be staying somewhere in a very rural place, and you might be moving on to some metro. So take a pan-India policy which gets coverage throughout the country. Okay. Yeah, maybe for your parents, if your parents are not moving out, maybe you don't see any probability of your parents moving out of their village, so then you can take a zonal policy that will help reduce the premium amounts. Check for pre and post hospitalization coverage. So with almost every Mediclaim policy comes a pre and post hospitalization. Maybe some give 2 months pre, 3 months post hospitalization or something like that. Up to 6 months of post hospitalization also you'll get in some policies. So try and figure out and get the maximum out of this. Waiting period in a policy. Now, what is the waiting period? Now, if you have any pre-existing disease, some policies, they say you have to wait for 3 years to get a claim out of this. You cannot claim for any diseases that you already have for the first 3 years. So look for these kind of conditions. Checklist number 9, no claim bonus. Look for policies that give high no claim bonus. So if you do not claim anything in a particular year, there are chances that the company would give some bonus to you, and that increases the insurance amount, the medical amount for you for the next year. And this accumulates up to, I think, 100% maybe. There are companies that gives up to 100% no claim bonus as of now. So look for some companies, look for these kind of companies who gives you maximum no claim bonus. And then the final checklist, and which the final point that you should be checking is the list of hospitals in your area that has a tie-up with this policy or this company. Otherwise, you will get a claim, but you'll have to spend first and then get a reimbursement from the company. So that's a big lengthy process. It takes 3 or 4 months for the money to come in, and also you'll have to make the payment first when the patient is hospitalized. So avoid doing all these things. Go for cashless hospitalization, and for that you need to know the hospitals in your area that covers the company that you're taking the policy from. Okay, so that's about Mediclaim. So these are the 2 main insurance that you should be taking. The third insurance is, if you have a home loan, insure it. Why is it required? It's required because, see, a home loan is a loan for 20-30 years. 30 years is a very, very long period. In such a big span of time, if God forbid, if anything happens to you, your family will not be taken out from that house. The loan amount that is outstanding with you will be covered up from the insurance. So always while taking a home loan, go for insuring it. But that doesn't mean, this doesn't give you the permission to not close the home loan early. You should definitely close your home loans early. That I'll discuss in our debt management video. But always do have an insurance for your home loan. So that's point number 4 in insurance. And then the last insurance is emergency fund. Why an emergency fund is required? It's required for emergencies. Of course, like emergencies, like anything. Emergencies can be anything. They don't have a name, they don't have a face, they don't have an outlook. They just come and tell you, I am an emergency, knock knock, it's me, pay. And that's where this payment is going to be handy for you. It's not a payment which you should be invested in shares or mutual fund or any other assets. It's an investment which you should be keeping in a savings account, maybe, or maybe in a short-term fixed deposits, or maybe liquid funds. The best is the liquid funds, of course. So that's where you can keep it, and when an emergency comes, whack, you put a withdrawal request, within 24 hours you get the money at hand. So that's the reason why an emergency fund is required. So there is a checklist for the emergency fund as well. Checklist number 1, having at least 6 months of your salary as a backup in the emergency fund. This helps you just in case if you lose your job, then these 6 months of liquid money is going to help you find another job in the meantime. So that's checklist number 1 for emergency fund. Number 2, 6 months of salary, which means every year, whenever your salary grows, you should grow this emergency fund as well. So make a plan, make a habit of topping up the emergency fund by at least the amount of raise that you get every year, or the percentage of raise that you get every year. So you get a 10% hike the emergency fund by 10%. Give a hike to that as well. Okay. And the third checklist is the best place to put it is in liquid funds. That's it. So these are the basic 4 insurance avenues that you can think of and insure yourself to have a cocoon around you, so that nothing penetrates in your way of financial freedom. By the way, this was the I of IDBP3. If you follow what I say in all these all these videos on IDBP3, and if you follow it diligently, rigorously, religiously, you will win with money 100% of the time. It's a guarantee. You will win with money. Now, I cannot predict the time frame you're going to win, because every one of you have different salaries, every one of you have different kind of expenses. The challenges you face are different for different people. But in the end, if I say, did you win it? You would say yes. So stay tuned, watch each and every episode of this IDBP3 in details. Look for the checklists and implement those checklists in your day-to-day life whenever it's required, so that you never miss out on any important factor in your journey of wealth building. That's all. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Money Mind. Till then, SG signing off. Goodbye.